Well, howdy folks, it's Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, making a follow-up video for the 2009 Ford Taurus 3.5 liter water pump timing chain replacement and service. And so I've been finished with this job now for, golly, it's been almost 2 weeks. And so the owner has taken it and has been driving it daily. And so I've never opened up a 3.5 liter, Ford 3.5 liter engine, the newer models. I've opened up plenty of engines. For me, it's all pretty much straightforward. So I went ahead and said, you know what, I'm pretty sure I can do this job. But whenever I come across something that I've never done before, especially concerning timing or anything like that, or an engine that I have yet to open up myself, I always like to kind of go a little bit extra mile on it, do multiple follow-ups, make sure everything's sealed correctly, and we're not going to end up developing leaks or anything like that 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks down the road. So that's ultimately what I'm doing here, and all of the feedback that I have gotten out of the owner has been great. The vehicle has 120,000 miles on it. And some of the complaints were that the gas mileage was just a little low. They kind of felt like the car was beginning to get sluggish and stuff like that. And then also the coolant, for about 2 or 3 oil changes per the oil shop that was doing the oil changes, they were telling the owner that the coolant was low. So this Ford Taurus is in extremely great shape for the 120,000 miles it's been through. If anything, if an issue has even thought about arising, it seems like the owners have addressed it, fixed it accordingly. They've pretty much kept up on every oil change. When I opened up the engine on this one, if you go back and watch the videos, the inside of this engine was extremely clean. And you could tell that they had been changing their oil and all that other stuff. So the end price for this job was $2,800. And if this Taurus was not as nice as it was with all the bells and whistles, backup sensors, this Taurus has it. If it wasn't as nice as it was, if it's been trashed out, if the interior wasn't all leather with heated seats and all that other nice stuff and the wood grain dash, or if it was and it was all tore up and destroyed, I don't think it would be worth spending the amount of money it takes to do the job. But if you've got one of the nicer ones and you've taken extremely good care of it, then yes, it is worth the money it takes to do this job, because now this car runs phenomenal. I've been told it runs like it did the day that it was bought from the dealer. The gas mileage per the dashboard computer has definitely come up. I've got reports of about 22, 23 gallons in the city and as much as 30 to 32 gallons on the highway when they're taking it on the highway. So they are extremely happy. No leaks or anything like that. So I've double checked that. Everything has been sealed up properly and accordingly. I used RTV all the way across for the timing cover and whatnot. So no leaks there. I made sure to replace the front main seal while I was in there. A few issues I ran into that prolonged the time on the job was one of them, if you're going to do this job, you're going to find out that one of the timing guide rails has been updated, and it doesn't matter who you buy your kit from. Most companies like Cloy's and Mellon and all them, Melling and all those companies, they have the updated timing guide rail, but what they don't tell you is you have to go to Ford and you have to get the updated bolts as well. And most dealerships don't seem to stock those bolts, so it could take 3 or 4 days for those bolts to come in. So if you get a timing guide rail that looks completely different than what you have taken off, that is because it has been upgraded and you are not going to be able to find the bolts for it. You'll need to go to the Ford dealership for it. So that's just a little tip there. Timing it was really not as stressful as I thought it was going to be. I actually realized that if you line all the marks up correctly and whatnot, there really is no need for the timing for the camshaft tools, the locking tools. However, having the locking tools allowed me to go to bed at night knowing for a fact that the timing on this engine was spot on, dead on, had not been messed with. And so when I buttoned it all up, I was very confident in starting it up. Another pointer real quick before I show you how it starts and runs and all that other stuff is because all of the timing guides, the tensioners and all that are hydraulically ran, VVT and all of that, the VVT solenoids, that's all hydraulic. And so before you start the vehicle, go ahead and disable your fuel pump relay and also pull the fuse for the ignition system and turn the vehicle over for a few seconds, basically 2 or 3 times to build up the oil pressure before you ultimately start it. And then once you go to start it, until that oil pressure is fully properly built up, it may take you 2 or 3 attempts to try to start it, and then it may cough, spit, and sputter for a little bit while the computer relearns the throttle body position and all that other stuff. So don't expect it just to start right up and run beautiful. It's got to build up its oil pressure. The computer's got to relearn some stuff. So your startup procedure should be about an hour long while you let it idle and relearn itself and all that other stuff. So, all right, well, let me show you how it runs. All right, so I'll go ahead and get it started up for you. As you can see, it starts right up, and you can honestly hardly even tell that engine is running. So we're good to go. So if you have one of these, this is how quiet it is. Here, look, there's a giant thing of bird poop right there. That's great to put in the video. So, but bottom line is, if you have one of these vehicles, bottom line is you're gonna run you are going to have to cross the bridge sooner or later of whether or not you're going to want to service that water pump. It can cost anywhere, from what I understand, between $2,300 on up to as much as $3,200, depending upon where you're at and where you're going. For us, it ended up costing $28,000. So, but in the end, when you factor in with how nice this Taurus is and the way it now runs and the way it's been taken care of, it is definitely worth it. And there actually is some equity now in this Taurus. And so the owner of this Taurus will keep it for as long as they possibly can. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep on servicing it the way they do if this ends up being a 300,000 mile vehicle. So worth it so long as all the factors are in place, if the numbers make sense. But if you've got one that's just beat up, hasn't been properly serviced, I don't think it's worth replacing that water pump or servicing the timing. So, alrighty, folks. Well, I just wanted to do a follow-up video on this one for you. I've actually gotten a couple requests about it. So there you go, guys. This is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, signing off.